Hi there. It's KMC here from the KMC University Help Desk. We like to look for patterns in the questions that come in from our members. And lately we've gotten kind of a flurry of questions around the idea of Medicare diagnosis coupling. Now it is very unusual in chiropractic. It's a little bit different than maybe other things because we are required for every region of the spine that's being addressed to have two diagnosis codes. The first one, of course, is the segmental dysfunction for the area where the treatment is going to happen. And then the secondary neuromusculoskeletal diagnosis that supports that subluxation, almost like what it's causing, if you will. And there has to be two for every region. So I would expect if I saw a 98941 CPT code being billed, which is 3 or 4 spinal regions, that I would see at least 6 or 8 diagnosis codes paired up in box 21 of that 1500 billing form. This is how we share the information, that we are not sending our notes right along, right? We have to just send them clues in the billing, whether it's electronic or paper. And when they see that many diagnosis codes, they know it matches with the 98941. Now, if you happen to be doing 4 regions of the spine, let's just say, then really, you have to share that 8 diagnosis codes, and that's how they know that 98941 equals 4 rather than 3 regions. Now, where's the most important place for that diagnosis to exist? That is in your medical record documentation. Generally, that diagnosis happens in the first visit of the episode of care. So when that happens, we're laying out the foundation and the groundwork for everything that the provider wants to treat. Of course, we can look in the treatment plan and we can see all of the areas of the spine that are going to be addressed. Now, keep in mind, some providers do ancillary, what we might call compensatory or secondary areas that are creating a challenge or a subluxation without a complaint, an asymptomatic area. Of course, those can also be addressed. But what's important is in the note, we need to be able to be sure there's a reason for why that adjustment took place. So if I'm adjusting the neck and upper back, and I find that there's an instability in the lower back or in the pelvis, let's say, those restrictions are noted in the O of SOAP or in the initial visit in the exam, then by all means I need to be able to show, if I'm going to declare that indeed I did adjust that pelvic region, then I have to have some justification for why I adjusted, even if I did not bill for it. Because those, of course, those asymptomatic areas are not billable. Only those that are primary subluxations with a secondary neuromusculoskeletal diagnosis. So go back and double check that for Medicare, every one of your patients has a pair of diagnosis codes for all of the active regions being addressed. If a secondary, ancillary, compensatory region is being addressed, very easy to only have the segmental dysfunction there. But of course, that won't be on the billing form anyway. That's just in the medical record. Questions on this? Holler at the help desk. We've got some great training in the library around this for providers with some documentation samples. And as always, we're here to serve.